Newsroom Computer System. This computer system creates guidelines for broadcast writing with the goal of making it so anyone can pick up and read it. For starters, everything must be typed, and using double space is preferred. The slug. The slug is a heading that separates a specific story from the other ones that day. Each story must have a slug, and they should be written in either the upper left or across the top of a page. The slug consists of a 1 to 2 word name for a story, the writer's last name or initials, and the date and time the newscast is being written for. Printed word. Use indented paragraphs in writing. In radio, lines are read 3.5 to 4 seconds long, going across a full page. In television, words go on the right side of a page with lines lasting 1 to 2 seconds. Hyphenation. Do not hyphenate words nor split them across lines, as reading hyphens may cause unnecessary hesitation or mispronunciation. However, if a hyphen is needed to improve readability, they may be used with moderation, even if it makes the word grammatically incorrect. Abbreviation. Do not abbreviate. There may be multiple meanings to an abbreviation, and not everyone will understand what one means. Mr., Mrs., Ms., and Doctor are exceptions. A doctor usually refers to medical doctors. PhDs should not be referred to as doctor unless their area of expertise is clear and relevant. Symbols. Do not use symbols. Write them out. Initials and acronyms. There are many initials and acronyms to describe something, and not everyone will know what all of them mean. For many things, one must say the full name, as there are no shortcuts. Almost always use the full name of an individual or organization when first referring to them, then use their initial or acronym in subsequent references. Very few work with first reference, like FBI and CIA. When the announcer is prompted to spell the acronym out, use dashes between the letters. When the announcer is prompted to say the acronym as if it's a word, delete the dashes and make sure the acronym is in caps. One oddity is OPEC, which people refer to more than their full name, which is the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries. Names. Write names the way people are known, but stick with a formal name if unsure. This is to maintain consistency, as news requires a defined naming system that everyone is familiar with. Do not use middle initials or middle names, unless if the individual is known for the middle name, or someone with a fairly common name has either committed a crime or is involved in something controversial. Numbers. As numbers are difficult to process when it is only heard, minimize the use of them as much as possible. There is a specific rule set that one must follow if numbers need to be used. For numbers 1 through 9, spell them out. For numbers 10 through 999, use numerals. For numbers over 999, use the words thousand, million, billion, etc. with a hyphen in between. When referring to 100, write out whether the announcer should say 100 or 800. For ordinals, both forms are accepted. For fractions, they should be written out and hyphenated. For numbers below 1 but over 0, their fraction equivalent must be used. For decimals over 1, using point is fine, but round off when possible. For numbers that appear next to each other in text, contrast between numerals in writing them out. And finally, for writing years, use numerals, but hyphenate if the announcer needs to pronounce the year in a certain way. In television, graphics would be the part that bears numbers, but the usage of that must still be in moderation, as it wouldn't be favorable to the audience in seeing so many charts and graphs. Ages. Ages should only be used if it is an important or interesting part of the story. Newspapers and websites can tell ages briefly, but broadcasts cannot. If an individual's age adds nothing to the story, exclude it. When describing someone's death, however, include their age, as the news story is like an obituary and ages are in obituaries. Emphasis. Storytelling doesn't just rely on words, expressions are also important. To insert emphasis in a word or phrase, use an underline or capital letters. To insert a pause, use dashes or ellipses, but do not use them at the end of sentences, as that is where periods should go. And after all periods, using double spaces leaves for better readability. Pronouncers. Pronouncers are pronunciation guides placed right after a word. Everything that may be mispronounced, like names, must have pronouncers. One can indicate emphasis in a pronouncer by the means of capital letters, but if the writing is in all caps, use an apostrophe after the emphasized sound. Pronouncers cannot replace the correct spelling of a word, and if possible, avoid using words with the same spelling but different pronunciation and meaning. Spelling. Use correct spelling. If something is misspelled in text, it could be mispronounced on air, and the misspelling may be exposed to the audience in closed captions. This video was made for a class presentation in my broadcast writing class, and is based on the Broadcast News and Writing Stylebook by Papper. Have a good rest of your day.